You beat this, lottie dottie.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying. You already know what it is.
Yo, what up? This is Marvin Gibson, aka Big Gip, and you are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show.
Hey now, this is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, home of the Moto Mob where legends are made. You are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. Press play.
Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? You already know what it is. It's your boy Retro with you on today. Keep it locked and don't you dare touch that dial. I got something I gotta say. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we are letting you know that we would love for you to come and worship with us on New Year's Eve, what we call Watch Night Service. It all goes down at 442 Westmore Avenue in Mooresville, North Carolina, Upper Praise Ministry. So make sure you guys put that on your calendar if you like to bring the new year in, giving God some praise, some glory, and some honor. And as you saw after that, later on that day, we'll be doing the Genesis ride. So make sure you guys put that on your calendar. Teflon, what's going on, bro? We got some stuff we got to get in the mail for you, brother. So we'll be in touch with you real soon. Again, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, it's your boy Retro. I got my sidekick in the building. We're gonna see if he's going to behave or not. Max, you want to say what's up to the folks? Maybe not. Okay, all right. And so anyway, guys, we want to hop on today and just to tell everybody, thank you. It's been a while since we've been on, but listen to me. All the birthday wishes, I couldn't get. I tried to respond to all of them, but that's kind of hard to do because sometimes somebody would say something and somebody would comment and somebody would post you, and so I just simply wanted to say thank you to everybody. As you can see this okay. There we go. As you can see, it's been that long since I've been in the studio, guys. C1s is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for him. Good brother up there indeed. God bless you, sir. Hope everybody is getting ready for your holiday season. But this is one thing I often say, we've got to be aware of the fact that even though it's a season of the joyful season, not everybody is joyful because people have lost loved ones, et cetera, self included. And for some people, this is a difficult time of year. So I simply want to encourage us all to be patient with people. People are on the brink of losing it. They're coming unhinged, and you never know what part of life someone is being challenged at. So just be patient with people during this time of year, period. All the time you ought to be patient. When I was a younger lad, I didn't have as much patience as I do now because I didn't have as much wisdom. And sometimes we don't have as much wisdom because we don't have as much experience. And so as you experience a few things in life, you realize that some stuff just ain't worth attaching yourself to, addressing, speaking on, acknowledging, and the list goes on and on and on. But again, as we grow up in life and mature, we learn that. So let us be patient with people. Look at here now, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts. Let's make some noise for Shakira. What's going on, homegirl? How you doing? Yes, indeed. Good to hear your voice, even though I can't hear it. But to see you, good. Did I just say good morning a while ago? I guess that's how excited I am. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for my friend, Shakira Bussy. She is in the building, man. And thank you for the birthday wish. Thank you so very much. Yes, Teflon, Shiro. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. Oh, we don't want to do that. No. Moving a little too quick there, yo. Shiro, what's going on? Teflon says she is a Shiro indeed, and I think a Shiro is a hero that is a female hero, so that equates to being a Shiro, and she is that in many of people's books. And we're appreciative of her for all that she has done, doing, and will do. And again, I got on here to say thank you. We are getting ready for a new year, 2025, and the reality is we're not promised to make it, even though we have 2 weeks ago, if that, not even 2 weeks ago. Max, that is not a treat. Don't chew on that, buddy. Y'all say what's up to Max. Max, you gonna say what's up to the people? Can y'all see him? Y'all can't see him? No? Okay. Let me see if I can do it this way. I think this angle is a little different. There we go. You can see a little bit of him. Say what's up to the folks, Max. My little sidekick. He's trying to behave. He's doing okay. He's doing okay. But not even 2 weeks to go before we are allowed to see, if we are allowed to see. See, you're doing too much, man. You're doing too much, man. Doing too much. To see the new year. But again, we are not promised that new year. So I am doing the best I can. I have been taking some time to be quiet. So much stuff is happening and going on, and so many moving pieces. And sometimes if you're not careful, you will get sidetracked. You'll lose focus. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. I'm at a place now where I would much rather be viewed as a failure. I would much rather be treated like a nobody than to miss the mark. Yeah. I'm talking about and miss out on God. Because listen to me, this stuff right here, even this social media and these YouTube and all these social media platforms, I told y'all this, and I say it all the time. People ain't who they post to be. They post as though they're this, that, or the other. But you know, when you really get to know them, they're really not what they have posted to be, what they have portrayed to be, what they are acting like they are. And I even made mention of this today during the service. I do not gauge a friendship based on the good times. I'm grateful for friends. I'm grateful for people who have showed me love and everything. I really, truly am. But what I found out is that when in other words, when things are going well, like, but yo, what up, Retro? You my man, you know, we go back like a Cadillac on full flats way back, you know, and yeah, what's going on, player? Yeah, well, yeah. But let something go left. Let something look like, you know, it's going to splash on them and see how quick they desert you. I'm just saying, I'm not here to start no mess. I'm just here to speak the truth. And that's one thing I will not do. Now, I've taken my time to be silent, and I'm going, you know, say this because I really want to hop on and tell everybody thank you for the birthday love and birthday wishes. But what I will do is I will speak my truth, and nobody is going to silence the truth, my truth. And I've got a book that'll be I'll just leave it at that. You'll hear about that soon, and you'll see some promos for it and in the near future. So I don't want to say too much about that. But nevertheless, good evening, James Grunt. How you doing, sir? I see you out there, boss man. Hope you're doing well up there in the cold. I know y'all was getting a little bit of cold weather the other day, man. But it's good to see you on this evening. He said good morning earlier, but I knew he meant good evening. I said good morning as well, man. Normally I am on in the morning, and dude, you got to grill me like that, bro? I mean, we got a problem, man? Oh, okay. I'm just checking, man. Back up. But we're gonna be on. We're gonna be doing some night shows. I've got some things that have changed in my calendar and my schedule that won't allow me to be on in the mornings like I used to be. So we're going to be switching that up, and we'll just kind of go from there. Let's see. Teflon, true character is shown through diversity. And that's why we got to stop being upset when stuff doesn't go our way. Look here, you're going to find out sooner or later, bro. Sis, you're going to find out sooner or later. So, you know, take the hit now and do the best you can to work through it. Right, Max? To work through it and get through it, because guess what? This is not going to take you out. It's not going to take you out, okay? C1 says facts. Thank you, Grunt. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. The Cigar Guy is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, Saints and Angels, let's make some noise for my man, 53 grand. Making it do what it do, aka the Instagram model. The man is smooth like butter. And so what's up, Tin Man? Hope all is well with you and yours. And from the bottom of my heart, man. We just up here just chilling, man. Team Tin Man all the way. You already know what it is. Let's see here. Carlos, what's going on, sir? How you doing? All right, from Mexico. All right, Veracruz, Mexico. God bless you, sir. Hope all is well with you and yours. Man, I tell you, I got the chance to hit up Mexico several months back. It's been, 3-4 months back? I don't know. Of course, we just went over the border there to, where do we go? To Tijuana. But it was a great time nonetheless. Next time, Carlos, maybe we'll get a little further over to your neck of the woods, Veracruz. I am fooling around with a map, a route, a trip for 2025, and so we'll see how that will pan out. But that trip is going to take me back cross country here in the United States, of course, and then over to Canada, and then we'll do Canada from side to side, and take it, all the way down to Miami. So we'll talk more about that later, man. Oh boy, it's just, I tell you. Anyway, friends, in my humble opinion, are not gauged during good times, because during the good times, everybody want to, say what's up, right? Who was it? Mike Jones. Y'all remember Mike Jones? I should have had him queued up, but he had that song. I used to love that song. He says, back then you didn't want me, now I'm hot, you're all on me. And ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, where you at, Lottie Dottie? Yeah. They will rock with you when it's going good. But when things get sticky, I'm talking about, real sticky. The question is, where are they then? I like those kind of people who will just tell you the truth, and some of you are on the live tonight. I can depend on some of you guys who are watching right now to call and have called, and that's what I'm talking about. So anyway, I gauge real friendship based on difficult and trying times. How do you guys gauge friendship? What is friendship to you? Is it important? Why is it important? I used to tell my kids all the time, look here, I ain't trying to be your friend. I'm your daddy. Now, we can be friends, and that's fine, but we've got to prioritize this thing. We got to understand what's more important. And sometimes we think friendship is everything, but it's not. It's not. It's not. And sometimes we go too far out of our way to acquire friendships. And you're friending, but they're not friending in return. So there's no real friendship. Yeah, you're a friend to them, and they're nice to you, but there's no friendship, because they will jump ship on you in a heartbeat without even thinking twice. And again, if and when they do that, accept it. I was going to say don't be hurt, and that's kind of hard to say, because truth of the matter is we all have feelings. And when somebody does something to you that you would have never done to them, it does hurt. So I'm not going to tell you, just get over it. Eventually we do have to get over it. But we do have to accept it, because it is a reality. Max, are you agreeing with me, sir? You agreeing with me, bro? I think he agrees with me. So, ladies and gentlemen, folks get things when folks get thin when things get thick. Yeah, they do. Yes, sir. They get thin when things get thick, and I'm okay with that. At least now we know. You know what I'm saying? And we can pick up the pieces, and we can keep going forward to make it do what it do. And I often refer to this text when Gideon was getting ready to go to battle, and the Lord told him, he said, Gideon, you got too many. He said, you got too many. And the Lord says, here's what I want you to do. First of all, Gideon's a little bit confused, because he said, my folks is solid, And let me see something real quick. Oh, these are all the same. I saw something the other day, And a dude told his mama, his grandmama, or somebody, he says, all my people is solid. You know, they all 100, you know. And so she busted out $300 bills and put it on the table. And y'all know them hundreds. Remember them old hundreds? And then you got the newer hundreds. And then you got the brand new hundreds. And she said, even folks who are 100 change from time to time. And that's a reality, folks. All right, Max. Go on over there. We done now. I don't need a co-host no more. You're doing too much. And so even folks that you thought were 100, they will switch up on you too. They will switch up on you. And so Gideon, my folks is solid, God, you know, and you know, what do you mean, you know? And so God says to Gideon, and this is what God has said to some of you guys. He says, tell all those that are fearful and afraid to go back home. And he lost over half his army. So you got to realize that some folks that are in your corner, they're scared. They're not solid. They're barely there. And the first excuse, or the first, in this case, I'm not even going to say excuse, but the first opportunity they get to leave, bruh, they in the wind. Yeah, they gone. Okay. And so what does Gideon do? He couldn't fall apart because, number one, he was on a mission. Number two, God placed him on this mission. You see, listen to me, folks. I know I might be new to some of y'all, but brand new I'm not. I might be new to some of you, but brand new I'm not. They done ripped me out the rapper a long time ago. I ain't brand new. I'm old school. I'm old news. Why do you think they call me retro? I'm old school. I'd have been around the block once or twice, you know, 3 or 4 times, you know. And let me tell you this. I'm on a mission. Now, on this mission that I'm on, you know, I get confused sometimes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You see, they might not be real enough to tell you that the truth, but I get confused sometimes because I'd be like, Lord, I thought this what you, and he said, nah, you thought a little too long, you know. And see, what happens is when we think we know what God is doing, we get a little relaxed. We get a little comfortable, you know, and we start doing this, that, and the other. And then sometimes God look at us and say, you're doing too much. Today I preach when God is silent. And sometimes God gets silent on you. He said, okay, you think you know what you're doing. All right, go ahead then. I'll be here when you get done, you know. And so Gideon is on a mission. And this is what we got to understand. This is what I had to understand. And this is what I understand. I'm on a mission. And if God has me, you, us, we on a mission, then guess what? He said his word will not return unto him void, but it will accomplish what he sent it out to do. And so even if half of the little nigglets want to turn around and go back, I probably shouldn't say that kind of stuff on here. Even if half of the folk want to turn around and go back, the question is, what are you going to do? Don't put your hope, your trust, or even your faith in people. Now, if you want to put it in the God of the people, the God whom that's a whole nother ball game. But you got to realize, my mama, she downstairs. I should go get her and bring her in on the show. She ain't gonna do it though. But my mama used to tell me all the time, there's a weak moment in every strong man's life. So anybody is subject to fail, falter along the way, mess up, slip, slide, dip, dodge, whatever you want to call it. Anybody is liable to do that, you know. And so when these people turn their back on you, don't get mad, because it may just be a weak moment in their life. They have, you know, they've gotten so far away from the goal. They have become so enamored in the likes and views, the this, the that, the accolades, until they became consumed by it. They used to say back in the day, don't get high on your own supply. Oh, there's some dangers in that, but we'll leave that alone. But that's what a lot of people do in this day and age that we find ourselves living in. And so all I'm simply trying to say, because see, some of us were walking around here hurt. We're walking around here mad because a grimy person did something that was grimy. Grimy people do grimy things. We got to just accept it. The sooner we accept it, the sooner we can get back to who we are. The sooner we can say, okay, well, that's done. Let me go ahead and own it, accept it. It is what it is. It happened. It went down. Now let me get back to being who I am. Take you a little time if you got to have your little, you know, your little personal powwow over in the corner and your little personal tantrum. Lord knows I done had my fair share. But then after it's all said and done, you got the Psalms 24, I believe it is. Lift up your head, O ye gates, and be ye lift up ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Gideon is sitting there. He lost half his folk. He said, now I knew he was solid, and that joker gone. Look at him. He booking it, getting back home. And God says, well, Gideon, it ain't over yet. You still got too many. I looked at my team today, and I said, sometimes we got to go through some thin before we can get back to the fat. I'm just trying to tell the truth that God loves. Come on, somebody. You got to go through some thin sometimes before you can get back to the fat. And what I'm saying is sometimes things will thin out on you. You good, Max? Yeah. Sometimes things will thin out on you. Let me say it again. Sometimes things will thin out on us. And I know you didn't plan it that way. Because the friendship that they were showing you, you thought it was solid. You thought it would be, you thought they had you. We're friends to the end. Heidi ho. Well, here's the end. And so anyway, we got to realize, because Gideon, God said, you still got too many. Gideon's like, oh man, can you imagine losing half your folk and God telling you you're going to lose some more? So when it's all said and done, he's left with a fraction, a tithe, which is a 10% of what he started with, is what he ended up with. And with the 10%, he still won the battle. Some of us got too many. Yeah, some of us got too many, man. The psalmist said in Psalms 42, I believe it was, at one portion of that text, he says, my tears have been my meat both day and night. I want to tell somebody, stop crying, because your crying season is over. Yeah, get on up, shake yourself, come on out of that cave. Remember David? He was backed into the cave of Adullam, and he was just fit to be tied. One thing after another. Who am I talking to tonight? David had went through one thing after another. I know how that feels personally, where you say, surely this is it. We can finally breathe again. We can finally, stick our head above water, only to seem like take one step forward and two steps back. But I need somebody to type in the comment section, but God. Yeah, but God. Listen to me. If you breathing and you love the Lord. Now see, a lot of folk breathing. But the question is, do you really love the Lord? If you really love the Lord, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. Now, he said, I want to say in John, I don't remember if it was 1 John or St. John, but it was in John. And he said, if you love me, keep my commandments. And some of us have forsaken the commandments of the Lord for the commandment of people. We have forsaken the commandment of the Lord for protocol. Ooh, my God. I ain't trying to disrespect your protocol, but if your protocol comes against what God called me to, then later for you and your protocol and your little call and your whatever other kind of call. Thank you, sir. But God, but God, but God, but God. Because at the end of the day, trust and believe, we're going to all have to call on God. He said, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Oh, my goodness. Facebook and YouTube and other social media platforms, depending on your views and your likes and everything and the interactions and your algorithm, if it's through the roof, then you can get paid. They send you a little check and everything, and they send you a little product, want you to sample their product and promote their product and everything, and so can you imagine getting to heaven and you ride up to the pearly gates on your CVO with your matching helmet and cute sneakers and everything, and tight jeans, your them skinny jeans and everything, and you just walk up there, you and your entourage talking about, yeah, we got 300,000 viewers and subscribers, let us in. God gonna look at you and say, yeah, I don't even know who you are. Because come on, man, we listen to me. He said, if you love me, keep my commandments. I say this and I'll say it again. I cannot reach everybody, but I got to reach somebody. If I focus on the everybody, I'll miss the somebody. Jesus, God, he left the 99 for the one that was lost. Yeah. Why do you think every time I go live, without fail, I do one or two things? Can y'all I don't know if y'all know what I do every time I go live. I do two things every time I go live. One of two things I do every time I go live. And if I don't do it, Lord help me, Jesus. I always say that this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Because if you don't understand that, then you already messed up, bro. I tell you all the time, if you can't create a day, you don't have the power or the right to complain about a day. Which one of y'all made Monday? Who made Tuesday? Who made Wednesday? Oh, okay. No takers? Ain't okay. So since we don't have the ability to create a day, what gives us the right? What makes us think we can complain about a day? And therefore, it's marvelous. This is a beautiful day. But retro, it's raining, it's getting ready to start thundering. Yes, but beautiful it is. You ever think about how God can send electricity just out of nowhere, just boom, you know? I just don't want it to hit me, you know, but I'm saying when you think about the creation of God, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And when we begin to think about it, you know, I didn't bring this point out in service today, so let me just kind of elaborate on it a little bit. Miss Pat, let me just pause for a moment. Let's make some noise for the one and only Miss Pat, the heart of Philly. Good to see you on tonight, woman of God. Good to see you. Hope all is well with you and your family. I just want to acknowledge that, woman of God, real quickly. And so we cannot create a day. So when God is silent, right? Sometimes God is silent. He's not speaking, yet still everything is speaking for him. Yeah. When you look at the trees swaying in the wind, God is speaking. Come on, somebody. When you hear the birds chirping and flying overhead, God is speaking. Come on, somebody. I mean, you know, when you look at the waters, because for some of us, we like to go to the water, maybe get on the boat, you know, whether it be a yacht, a cruise ship, or just a little sailboat. But the water can be very calming, you know, very relaxing for many people. But when you look at the waters, God is speaking. Everything points back to God. And so when God is silent, it doesn't mean he's no longer speaking. We're just looking in the wrong direction. And sometimes it's because we are doing too much to please people and to impress people that don't have a heaven to let you in or a hell for you to shun. I'm just saying that's what mom and them used to say. Y'all come on now. Because every one of us you got some kind of church upbringing, some kind of church connection, whether it was your mama or your grandmama or your great grandmama, your auntie, your neighbor. But I go out on a limb and bet the rest of this sun drop, that everyone that's watching right now. Let me see where y'all at.
I don't mean to brag, but my videos are enjoyed by well over 4 people worldwide.
So all 4 of y'all spend some time at some point or another in somebody's church. We're going to let that simmer for a moment. Just for a hot moment, okay? And so with that said and done, you've got to understand that God never stopped speaking. He may be silent, but he certainly has not stopped speaking. Okay, you got to a place. Let me be careful. I don't want to put anything on anybody. Sometimes people get to a place where they are so destitute, where their faith is so challenged, and they're fearful when they get to that state, and they begin to grab for anything as a sign of life. They begin to grab hold to anything for hope, and the problem is, it's not so much of a lack of faith. It's not so much of no faith. It's a problem of misplaced faith. See, you got faith, but you're placing it in and on the wrong people and things. Your motorcycle club can't save you. And I get it. You know, there are a lot of great organizations out there. I'm not bashing neither one of them. But from Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry to whoever else you want to put in the blank, they can't save you. At best, all Kingdom Alignment can do is continue to point to the one that can, to continue to try to inspire and encourage and just point you to Jesus. Yeah, that's just real talk. Look at here, man. I'm at a point in my life, I ain't your savior. No, and I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to try to take that responsibility because I know I can't fulfill it. And, you know, because if you do, then when folks go astray, look at here. I'm just not going to let that be on. I'm not going to let that blood be on my hands. I can't afford to do that because I'm not God. So we have to realize, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, for every one of you guys that are listening to this, that is watching this, you don't have a problem of no faith. You just have a problem of misplaced faith. You've placed your faith in the wrong thing. I enjoy riding my motorcycle, but the joy of the Lord is my strength. You know, I respect a lot of people. Some of you guys that are on here tonight, I respect you. Who did I see just a while ago? Juanita Shaw in the building. Yeah, there we go. God bless you, woman of God. And it's okay. We ought to respect people. There ought to be other people who inspire us and that we look up to and things of that nature. But they are not God. And we can never get that twisted. So anyway, let me get back to Gideon because I got to get out of y'all's way, man. I got work in the morning and stuff. So Gideon, he had too many. He found out that half of his folks was scared. So I guess if we're going to follow that same pattern, it would be fair to say that some of y'all got a bunch of scaredy cats around you. And just because you have the latest fashions, it really doesn't hide it. A lot of people are doing their best to hide behind things. Oh gosh, I don't know if I should have got on here tonight. I posted a picture of a trip that I'm planning on taking. I'm hoping to make it in 2025. It looks like it's going to be a really great ride. Several parts of that trip has some how do I want to say it? There are a few aspects about that trip that are really important to me, and I'll be sharing that at a later date when the time is right. Excuse me. But a lot of us are hiding behind mouths. A lot of folk are hiding behind accomplishments. Yeah. And sometimes we got to realize that they're doing it because they're scared not to. What I've talked to several people recently. And these people, I already deemed them to be great people. Yeah, true story. They may not know it. Well, some of them do. Most of them do. I already saw the greatness in them. I already saw the hand of God on them. But there's a handful of people who I've spoken to in recent months who have all said, and they're not even connected per se, but they said, I had to take some time off from social media. Now, there are some people that would never do that because they're too afraid that the algorithm would drop too low, and so their faith, they have faith, but it's misplaced faith. Their faith is in the algorithm. Okay, all right. My point is, there are some people who cannot back away from social media. They cannot back away from this, that, or the other, because that in and of itself is their hope. And without that, they're just little scaredy cats. I had one person who I won't mention their name. I guess you could say well known throughout social media world. And my God, the way they carried themselves, all because they were afraid that their reputation was under attack or whatever. I mean, it's just beyond me, But sometimes when you really just be still and listen, not to what they're saying, but to the sound that's coming out of their mouth. Some of y'all won't catch that, but it's just like, wow, And so when an individual says, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to pause, I'm going to step back from this for a while, because it's more important and it's more beneficial that I hear from God and not from the viewers and subscribers. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for subscribing. and we pray that you will continue to do so. I pray that the Lord will allow me to continue to put out content that can be beneficial to the viewers. Recent weeks, months, I really ain't been feeling up to it. I just really, said I'm gonna take this time to just chill and be silent for a little bit, because shoot, I told you a little while ago, I get confused too. I miss the mark sometimes. You know why? Because I was human. You see that right there? That's flesh that need a little lotion on it too. So let me put them hands down. Good Lord. But I'm human, and Jesus said to the disciples, I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but he sent them out in twos, and when they came back, they were so excited about what they had done, and Jesus said, "Come ye apart," and he explained to them in so many words, as I paraphrase, what's most important is that you make sure your name is written in the Lamb's book of life. What profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Suppose I blow up, and when I say I'm talking about, my subscription, my social media presence. Suppose I become an overnight sensation. I got viewers through the yin yang. I got subscribers, through the yin yang. Number one, careful that your newfound fame doesn't lead you astray. Number one. Number two, careful that it doesn't get you in trouble, and we'll leave that alone. Number three, let me talk about this. You got to make sure you're ready for this stuff. And when I say this stuff, I'm talking about the fame, the limelight, being out front, because it's a different beast. Because that limelight that some people so desperately seek, it will uncover some stuff. It will cause some stuff that was overlooked at one time to be seen on Front Street. And are you ready? Are you ready? I say this about David, and I think we can apply it here in a sense. I had this conversation with a minister recently. Number one, please understand, and David is one of my favorite characters in the Bible. I really can glean a lot from his story, because David was human. He was, he wasn't one who has a perfect story. He had some failures and some falters along the way. He had some issues, but nevertheless, David was still anointed. You think God doesn't know about your shortcomings, your issues, your problems, you think he doesn't know about that? Oh, he knows, but it doesn't prevent him from calling you by name. Okay, let me move on. So David was anointed, and some of y'all would say, yeah, that's right, David was anointed to be king, and yeah. No, you don't see David being anointed to be king. David was anointed to become king. Some may say, Retro, what you talking about, man? That's just a play on words. Well, tomato, if that's what you want to say. But when I look at the story of David was anointed to become king over Israel. If David was anointed to be king, like Saul was anointed to be king, Saul was anointed and placed right in the position. David was anointed. Now, meanwhile, the kingdom is torn from Saul's hands. Samuel, God is having a conversation with Samuel, and he lets Samuel know. He says, this day the kingdom is rent from Saul's hands. Now, Saul was still sitting in the seat. I better just sign off and go to my bed. There are a lot of people who are still sitting in position. They're still sitting in the seat, but it's already been ripped from their hands. I'm just saying. I often say this, and I'll say it again. Leaders lead. Good leaders inspire. Great leaders attract other leaders, but exceptional leaders know when to step aside. And there are some folk they were good leaders. Some might even call them great leaders, but they never rose to the place of an exceptional leader because they wanted to prolong something that was going to, it wasn't meant to be prolonged. You got to know when it's time to step aside. Nobody's going to reign forever. Nobody. And people have the misconception that, let me say it this way, because some folk want to rule forever, they do what's necessary to set it up that way. And that includes scheming, conniving, lying, cheating, stealing, killing. You know, the list goes on and on and on. Yeah, look how many leaders, and I know y'all ain't gonna be real, but that's okay. I'm gonna start doing a show, an after dark show, where you know we can really talk about. Okay, anyway, how many leaders do you know who have killed the dreams of a young leader because they were intimidated by their style, their anointing, their gift, et cetera, et cetera? Now, instead of grooming this young person, because look at here, just the man 23 years old and you 65. I'm saying, even if he sit there and just wait, it's gonna happen. We can't stop time. So I'm saying, let me say this to anybody who considers themselves to be an OG. If you claim to be an OG and you're not pouring into a little G, then the only OG you are is old and goofy. Can I say that on social media, guys? Of course I can, because some folks say a whole lot worse. If you are not pouring into the next generation, if you are not taking all the wisdom and the experience that you have gained and acquired and so on and so forth, and if you're not planting that into somebody else, the only OG you are is old and goofy. I said it. Sorry, not sorry. Oh boy. Okay, let me get out y'all's way, man. Y'all don't want to hear this kind of stuff. So Gideon now he's left with just a fraction of the people that he started with, and I need some of you guys to look around and see who's still with you at the end of 2024. Some folk have turned their back on you that you never in a million years, as my country folk would say, in a month of Sundays, never thought that so-and-so would have did such and such to me. I'd have never thought. I thought we was friends to the end. Well, look at you now. And don't be mad at them. And don't be mad at you. It just is what it is. Yeah, it just is what it is. You walking around here mad, and that ain't helping nobody. You got to release them folk and let it go. Gideon was more focused on the mission than he was the mess that transpired on the way to the mission. Okay? Yeah. So I had to get it through my thick skull. Because sometimes the things that they say and even the things that they do, you be like, man, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, okay, this all right, yeah, they all right. And meanwhile, you losing sight of the mission. You losing focus on what's really at hand. They tell me, and I'll never get close enough to find out literally, that a frozen snake will unthaw and it'll bite you as soon as it unthaw. I don't want nothing to do with snakes unless it's in the form of a belt or boots. Yeah, if it ain't a belt or boots, I don't want nothing to do with it. And some of us, we are walking around here, with snakes, rubbing them and trying to nourish them and nurture them. And, Mama used to say you got to handle some folk with a 10-foot handle spoon or something like that. She used to say, but it is what it is. It comes with the territory. So I may not be speaking to everybody, but one thing I do know, I know I'm speaking to somebody. And I will never again allow what the masses say cause me to lose sight on what I need to say to the individual. That's why every time I go live, I give God the glory. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. And the second thing I do is I always acknowledge Lottie-dottie.
Lottie-dottie. Lottie-dottie.
That's what it is, Lady Shaw. Yeah, 10-foot pole. There it is.
You know what? You beat this. Lottie-dottie.
So, the mere fact that you knew exactly what I was trying to say is proof enough for me to know that you have already been armed with enough know-how, enough wisdom to navigate through whatever waters you find yourself in this hour. Yeah. Let me say this. We must stop looking at what we're going through and see where we are going to. It is not the muddy waters that we are going through that we need to focus on. It's the glory land over there that will be worth going through the muddy waters. I am no longer concerned about what they think or say. Because they gonna think and say what they want to think and say. You can't change the mind of somebody who's grimy. That's God's job. I just got to keep my eyes on him. God told Gideon, he says, and I didn't forget about Lottie Dottie. I'm gonna finish up with her in just a second. But God told Gideon, he said, those that are left, take them down to the water, and then I'll do the testing from there. Just get them down to the water, and I'll handle it there. I'm at a place in my life where God is telling me, don't worry about it, just get there, and I'm going to handle. Oh, I feel a preach coming on right there. My job is just to get there. Don't be concerned with what they're saying. Don't be concerned with what they're doing. He's saying to me, Retro, just get to the water, and I'm going to handle the rest. And so when they got to the water, God did the rest. He put them to the test. And then Gideon was left with just a fraction of what he started with. And with that small fraction, he went on to win the battle. That was Gideon. Let's look at Nehemiah, right? Nehemiah had a great task to do too. And he did it with just a fraction of people. Sometimes less is more. What time I got, folks? This should have been like a 10 or 15 minute thank you for the happy birthday wishes, so on and so forth, and then boom, going about my way, you know. But look at me up here with diarrhea mouth, just running my mouth, just running my mouth. Go figure. You ready to go downstairs, Max? Even Max saying, come on, man. He said, come on, owner, we got to go, man. You know, I need a treat. You need a treat? Max needs a treat. All right, so Lottie Dottie, I always acknowledge Lottie Dottie because Lottie Dottie is somebody. And sometimes I have to be reminded it ain't about them, it's about Lottie Dottie. Everybody ain't gonna receive you. Everybody ain't gonna like it, you know. But never forget Lottie Dottie. Ladies and gentlemen, he had 300 men left to win the battle, from 3,000 to 300. Yeah, from 3,000 to 300. Last time I checked my mathematical skills, 300 was 10% of 3,000, I think. If my mathematical skills is correctamundo, something like that, right? So there you go. Judges chapter 7. Thank you there, C1s, ladies and gentlemen, in the building. So I want you guys to be great. Take your eyes off the masses and just do whatever it is that God is calling you to do. Don't think of yourself more highly than you ought to. And I'm not saying that you walk around here proud and boastful or anything like that. But sometimes we think that we shouldn't go through the things that we're going through. And Max. And in a sense, we shouldn't. But because we are God's children, we're going to go through some things. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay because it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, it's your boy Retro. I'm still on the earth. I ain't completely disappear. Haven't been as, vocal, but that for a reason. We are closing out 2024 strong. Sitting down, hearing from God during the Genesis ride that we will be doing on January 1st. Kickstands up at 10 a.m. from Upper Praise Ministries in Mooresville, North Carolina, 442 Westmore Ave. If you want to participate, just show up. But once we get done with the ride, we will end at a local eatery, and we will, of course, welcome all of our guests and everything. We will then spend some time doing what we call a recap for the year 2024. We will discuss and talk about some of the highs and some of the lows that we have experienced, not just as a team, even individually. And we will then cast vision for 2025. Which is one of the reasons why I felt it necessary to just sit down somewhere for a little bit and hear from God. Yeah, I'm still posting here and there, but I haven't been doing much interaction or anything like that. And it's all good. Excuse me. So on January 1, we will share a lot of that with those who will be in attendance. We will also be having a watch night service at our church, Upper Praise Ministry. So if you're looking to bring the new year in church, I know a lot of people, they like to bring it in church. I knew some folk once upon a time, they was out in them streets, but they had to bring it in church. They wasn't saved, wasn't claiming to be saved, but they had enough sense that they wanted to bring the new year in God's presence. And I remember they were friends of ours, and and the church that we were going to at the time, they see all these folk coming out. They came dressed to go out to the club once they left the church. I mean, true story, and you see about 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 of them coming to church, all together, and they filling up the 2, 3 back rows and everything. And the church is like, oh my Lord, and New Year come in, and then after they went out and they did their thing, but they wanted to bring the new year in, giving God the, acknowledging God. And I will tell you, without any exaggeration, at least half, if not more, of those folk that would show up just to acknowledge God as the new year came in are serving God and living for him to the utmost. Yeah, like real talk. It is impossible to acknowledge God and things not happen. It is impossible to acknowledge God and things not change. I'm just saying. And it may not happen as quickly for everybody, but if you would give ear. And here's the reality. Every last one of us, we come into this world with a void. We come into this world with a place set aside for God, and nothing can fill it. That's why some of these jokers, they won't get off their motorcycle, because they running, but they're running from their self. That's why some of these folk won't stop going after their this, that, and the other, because they're running and they're trying to stay busy. They're trying to get accomplishment after accomplishment, but none of that stuff is going to fill the void that only God himself can fill. Now, you can lie to yourself if you want to, but that's the worst person in the world to lie. It's worse to lie to yourself than it is to lie to God. I'm just saying. Some may not agree, but listen to me. Turn that bike off. Park that thing. Give it a break and hear from God. I know you can hear from God on your motorcycle, but no man can serve two gods. And my motorcycle will never take the place of my God. I'm getting ready to plan me a trip, and I'm going to be on that thing for a while, maybe 4 weeks straight, maybe, if I can, make it do what it do. But it will never take the place of God. Last trip I did, last big trip I did, man, I had such a God time while I was out there, because I had everything in order in terms of prioritizing. And somebody asked me, they said, Retro, what was the best part of your trip? I said, the best part of my trip was the breakdown. Yeah, because I left the house knowing that I had some 9,000 miles to do before I could get back home. And I left the house knowing that, man, this is going to be a great trip. And, my miles going to be looking right for the end of the year and everything. And God, before I could even get to my first destination, God said, I'm going to have to get you in order, bro. So let me break this thing real quick here so I can set everything in order. So you could, yeah. And the breakdown was the best part of the trip, because it brought everything back into perspective. I never forget, I was in Council Bluff, Iowa. Yeah, Council Bluff, Iowa, I believe it was. And that thing with the making all that clacking and breaking sound and everything, I said, oh, Lord, what is this? And after I called on the Lord, I then, stop doing that, Max. Come over here and sit down. After I called on the Lord, I then called my wife. I said, baby, I think my trip is over. She said, oh, man, baby, what's going on? What happened? And I started telling her what was happening. I said, I got to find a place so I can, kind of sort this thing out, And so she immediately starts moving into gear, because she was my pit crew. She did an awesome job, too. And I get over to a safe place, and I'm checking out the bike and realize it was nothing I can do on the side of the road. Called my mechanic, talked to him about a few things. And it was about 6:30 in the evening. And so I called Harley Davidson the next morning, and they were able to come out there and get me. But there was a Bishop Leo Lewis, Apostle Leo Lewis. He used to always talk about the cuss or praise moment. You probably heard me quote that a few times before. And I was met with my cuss or praise moment in that moment. Stop, Max. And And I chose to praise instead of cuss. I chose to yield to the peace of God. True story. I ain't trying to be super deep or nothing like that. I'm just telling you the guy's honest truth. And I said, you know what? The bike is broke. I'm good. I'm not hurt. It's just a bike, and even if I don't finish the trip, oh well, there'll be another time. And so, my wife was like, babe, just get you a room and we'll figure it out in the morning. And, and I said, you know what? I said, yeah. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did, folks. And so I get to the hotel and I decide to go get something to eat, and just got into conversation with the people that were working at the restaurant. The next morning I get up, Harley Davidson, they came to pick me up, and had a great conversation with the service manager on our way back to the shop. And then the magic started. I'm walking around the showroom floor. I said, maybe I ought to just buy me a new bike and just not even worry about fixing this one. And start talking with the sales lady. And before you know it, we're talking about God. We're talking about this. We're talking about that. Her daughter comes over. We're all in tears. And God was just moving, you see. And so that breakdown was intentional. And if nothing else, that part of the trip right there was well worth it. It was well worth it. And of course, they were able to get me fixed up and out of there before the end of the day. And I was still able to make the deadline for the first portion of the trip up into Canada, and had a great ride the rest of the ride. It was just nothing but God. And we were doing some riding through the mountains of Canada. Of course, when I crossed over, I was solo. But on the way back, there was like 22 of us, 20 of us. It's a good number of us. And I mean to tell you, man, and some great riders too, man. But it was just a God moment for me, man. And so all I'm simply trying to say is, when I'm on my motorcycle, I can't speak for nobody else. It's a humbling experience because I realize that anything at any given moment, I could go down. Anything could happen. And so it's always a humbling experience for me. And it may not have been like that always, but it certainly is now. So all I'm simply trying to say is make sure you put God first and keep him first. Don't let the glitz and the glamour fool you. Don't be tricked by these folk, because a lot of these folk out here, they real tricky. But truth be told, if they were to get the green light where they can go home, all those that are fearful and afraid, you'd lose half the folk. Yeah, you would lose half the folk, and then at the next testing, you'd lose the rest of them. And you'll find out that you'll be, and I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to close on this. See, out of those 300 folk that was left, I bet you at least 200 of them, Gideon would have never expected. In other words, if Gideon had to guess that he would lose 2,700 of his men, those 300, many of them would have been on the list. In other words, those who made it, he probably didn't even think that they would be the ones to make it. And I'm going to say this in closing. There's a lot of folk out there that bet on the wrong horse. Yeah, they put their money on the wrong horse. Yo, it's your boy Retro, man. I done said way too much. Well, I didn't say way too much, but I certainly said enough. I did say way more than I had intended to say. But it is what it is. How about that? Bada boom, bada bang. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have yourselves a good night. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for all of the birthday wishes and everything. I had a splendid birthday. I feel like a grown man because I is 49, y'all. 49. I'll be 50 next year. Ain't that something? Holy moly, I can't believe it. Seems like I was just 16 just the other day. It's amazing how time will fly on you. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, y'all be good. And remember, God is everything you need him to be, man. You don't need a CVO. You need a just closer walk with God. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. You don't need a new gold wing. You just need to get underneath his wing. Yeah. Now, it's not that the CVO is bad, and it ain't that the gold wing is bad, but make sure your priorities are in place first. Make sure you're doing what you gotta do. And then the rest will follow. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and the rest will follow. If you get it any other way, man, you're in danger. You're in danger. I don't know what else to say. All right. Thank you, Juanita Shaw. God bless you. You have yourself a good night as well. Who knows when you'll see me back on as far as morning time. It might be closer to, late nights. I'm going to be doing a few late night shows. And we'll just see. When God say go live, I'll just go live. All right. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. That's it. If you guys are looking for a watch night service, make sure you come join us. Upper Praise Ministries right here in Mooresville, North Cackalack. Let me see if I can do it this way. Bada boom, bada bang. Where we at? Bada boom, bada bang. There it is.
Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? It's your boy Retro with you on today. And I've got a public service announcement for you. Just because you do something that you see an OG do doesn't make you an OG. And just because you get on your motorcycle and you pound from here to there doesn't make you a ground pounder either. You'll never be what you ain't. But hey, like they say in the Army, be all you can be.
Everybody want to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Hey now, this is the Mileage Bully, the Moto Mob CEO, home of the Moto Mob where legends are made. You are now tuned in to the Retro Philosophy Show. Like, share, and subscribe. You know what to do. Press play.
What's up, everybody? This is your man Pablo Frescobar on the Retro Philosophy Podcast, talking about my newly published book, Courage Unveiled, Navigating the Battlefield Within.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your man Kodak, the most hated, coming to you live from the Retro Philosophy Show, where I always listen to my man, 50 Grand, Pastor Retro. You know what it is.
No one knows my struggle.
Hey, it's the last time I let somebody
They
steal
don't know
my
my
pizza.
trouble.
You ain't adding to the plate, shawty, you can't eat. Don't be acting like you know me, bro. We don't speak. A lot of people come and go, but it won't be me. You can't break me. I just take control of the